Hi, it's Wyatt at Rubicon Mortgage Advisors. I wanted to describe the closing disclosure process in detail if I could. A federal requirement is we need to make sure that we have at least a preliminary closing disclosure signed by you 3 business days or more prior to closing. This document will be coming. These are not your correct and final numbers, but it'll be a preliminary number that'll have some pretty close estimates on it. That doesn't mean there can't be any changes made to it, but it meets the federal requirement if we have this document signed at least a minimum of 3 business days prior to closing. Also, so this document will come out for you to be electronically signed or wet signed at least 3 business days or more prior to closing. So please be expecting that. Also, I want to remind you that once the final closing disclosure comes available too, that document will come to you also. And that'll be a separate email also, and that one will note to call me directly because I'm going to want to cover all those correct and final numbers with you in detail just to make sure 100% prepared for the closing. Also, you got to make sure that you do not make any changes also. Make sure not only the loan closed, but take note of the funding date. When the loan funds, you cannot make any changes. Don't open up any new loans, no new credit cards. Don't spend your down payment money. If there's any cash to close requirements, that is, make sure you don't make any changes. The day after the funding date, you can do what you want, but you got to make sure you don't change any changes at all. Or before you think about doing something like that, make sure to talk to me first before any changes take place. So, I just want to explain the closing part of the process, but just that disclosure process, I should say, and it's called the preliminary closing disclosure and the final closing disclosure. You will see those documents, and we will be able to talk about them in detail here real soon. Thanks.